To conquer by sheer force is becoming harder and harder every day. Defensive is getting continuously the advantage of offensive. A new idea must not be judged by its immediate results. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. There is no subject more captivating, more worthy of study than nature. To understand this great mechanism, to discover the forces which are active, is the highest aim of the intellect. I have always been ahead of my time. The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart, like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being. And if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. Our virtues and our failings are inseparable, like force and matter. When they separate, man is no more. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have undoubtedly certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. Every living being is an engine geared to the real work of the universe. Though seemingly affected only by its immediate surrounding, the sphere of external influence extends to infinite distance. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The individual is ephemeral. Races and nations come and pass away, but man remains. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factors. What we now want is closer contact and better understanding between individuals and communities all over the earth, and the elimination of egoism and pride. The practical success of an idea, irrespective of its inherent merit, is dependent on the attitude of the contemporaries. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment. The spread of civilization may be likened to a fire. First, a feeble spark, next a flickering flame, then a mighty blaze, ever increasing in speed and power. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. We crave for new sensations, but soon become indifferent to them. The wonders of yesterday are today common occurrences. Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs. The future for which I really worked is mine. Though free to think and act, we are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable. Everyone should consider his body as a priceless gift from one whom he loves above all. A marvelous work of art, of indescribable beauty. At a time not distant, it will be possible to flash any image formed in thought on a screen and render it visible at any place desired. The day when we shall know exactly what electricity is will chronicle an event probably greater than any other in the history of the human race. Alpha waves in the human brain are between 6 and 8 hertz. The wave frequency of the human cavity resonates between 6 and 8 hertz. All biological systems operate in the same frequency range. I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. The progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention. It is the most important product of his creative brain. Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery over the material world. My method is different. I do not rush into actual work. When I get a new idea, I start at once, building it up in my imagination, and make improvements and operate the device in my mind. I have harnessed the cosmic rays and caused them to operate a motive device. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. The struggle, so violent in the early days of science between the views of Ptolemy and Copernicus, would then be renewed. Most persons are so absorbed in the contemplation of the outside world that they are wholly oblivious to what is passing on within themselves. Intelligence is not the ability to store information, but to know where to find it. The scientific man does not aim at an immediate result. He does not expect that his advanced ideas will be readily taken up. His work is like that of the planter for the future. His duty is to lay the foundation for those who are to come and point the way. We may produce at will, from a sending station, an electrical effect in any particular region of the globe. Our senses enable us to perceive only a minute portion of the outside world. Throughout the infinite, the forces are in perfect balance, and hence the energy of a single thought may determine the motion of a universe. All peoples everywhere should have free energy sources. Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machinery without the need for coal, oil, or gas. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. The feeling is constantly growing on me that I had been the first to hear the greeting of one planet to another. The history of science shows that theories are perishable. With every new truth that is revealed, we get a better understanding of nature. Of all the frictional resistances, the one that most retards human movement is ignorance. Solitude is the secret to creativity and invention. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a huge brain. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. The desire that guides me in all I do is the desire to harness the forces of nature to the service of mankind. Money does not represent such a value as men have placed upon it. All my money has been invested into experiments with which I have made new discoveries, enabling mankind to have a little easier life. I do not value a fortune. It means nothing to me. The scientists from Franklin to Morse were clear thinkers and did not produce erroneous theories. With ideas, it is like with dizzy heights you climb. At first, they cause you discomfort, but soon you learn to enjoy the view. The technical problems are difficult, but easier than the financial. Man's new sense of pity began to interfere with the ruthless workings of nature. We build but to tear down. Most of our work and resource is squandered. In the 21st century, the robot will take the place which slave labor occupied in ancient civilization. It is paradoxical, yet true, to say that the more we know, the more ignorant we become in the absolute sense. The human being is a self-propelled automaton entirely under the control of external influences. Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other of the common fuels. Science is but a perversion of itself, unless it has as its ultimate goal the betterment of humanity. I am trying to awake the energy contained in the air. These are the main sources of energy. What is considered as empty space is just a manifestation of matter that is not awakened. The individual is ephemeral. Races and nations come and pass away, but man remains. Therein lies the profound difference between the individual and the whole. Ere many generations pass, our machinery will be driven by a power obtainable at any point of the universe. It will soon be possible for a businessman to dictate instructions and have them appear instantly and type in his office. A single ray of light from a distant star falling upon the eye of a tyrant in bygone times may have altered the course of his life. Modern science says the sun is the past, the earth is the present, the moon is the future. Every effort under compulsion demands a sacrifice of life energy. I never paid such a price. Perhaps I failed, but I do not regret anything, because I was convinced I was doing the right thing. I have been feeding pigeons, thousands of them for years. But there was one, a beautiful bird, pure white with light gray tips on its wings. All knowledge or form conception is evoked through the medium of the eye. But the female mind has demonstrated a capacity for all the mental acquirements and achievements of men. I could only achieve success in my life through self-discipline, and I applied it until my wish and my will became one. No free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. The transmission of power without wires will very soon create an industrial revolution and such as the world has never seen before. My project was retarded by laws of nature. The world was not prepared for it. It was too far ahead of time. All matter comes from a primary substance, the luminiferous ether. We are whirling through endless space with an inconceivable speed. All around everything is spinning. You may live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments. They wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. If Edison had a needle to find in a haystack, he would proceed at once with the diligence of the bee to examine straw after straw until he found it. I was thinking more of the greatest good for the greatest number. Antisocial behavior is a trait of intelligence in a world full of conformists. Universal peace as a result of cumulative effort through centuries past might come into existence quickly. I am credited with being one of the hardest workers, and perhaps I am, if thought is the equivalent of labor, for I have devoted to it almost all of my waking hours. From childhood, I was compelled to concentrate attention upon myself. The last 29 days of the month are the hardest. One day man will connect his apparatus to the very wheelwork of the universe, and the very forces that motivate the planets will rotate his machinery. An inventor's endeavor is essentially life-saving. Whether he harnesses forces, improves devices, or provides new comforts and conveniences, he is adding to the safety of our existence. My ear barely caught signals coming in regular succession, which could not have been produced on Earth. In one of the suns, I saw shadows of the three who were most dear to me. Their forms wavered and blended together. When natural inclination develops into a passionate desire, one advances towards his goal in 7-league boots. Like a flash of lightning, the truth was revealed. I drew with a stick on the sand the diagrams. My mother understood human nature and never chided. She knew that a man cannot be saved from his own foolishness or vice by someone else's efforts. Fights between individuals, as well as governments and nations, invariably result from misunderstandings in the broadest interpretation of this term. The harshest criticism comes from former worshippers. It is not the possession of truth, but the success which attends the seeking after it that enriches the seeker. We are automata entirely controlled by the forces of the medium being tossed about like corks on the surface of the water. All people everywhere should have free energy sources. The Buddhist expresses it in one way, the Christian in another, but both say the same. We are all one. We should begin at the very root from which we spring. We should assimilate ourselves to our eternal element. My belief is firm in a law of compensation. The true rewards are ever in proportion to the labor and sacrifices made. Deficient observation is merely a form of ignorance and responsible for the many morbid notions and foolish ideas prevailing. Everyone should consider their body as a priceless gift from one whom they love above all. By the year 2050, traffic jams will be a thing of the past. Cars will fly at high speeds or hover above the ground. We shall be enabled to illuminate the whole sky at night. The time will come when he will succeed in setting up a machinery in the center of this planet. Electrical science has revealed to us the true nature of light, has provided us with innumerable appliances and instruments of precision. Before many generations pass, our machinery will be driven by power, obtainable at any point in the universe. These mental activities occupied my thoughts for practically the whole of my student years. Every living being is an engine geared to the work of the universe. Though seemingly affected by only immediate surroundings, the sphere extends to infinite distance. All these years of great activity have left their mark. They have aged me prematurely. I have been ridiculed and criticized, but this only made me more determined. The spread of civilization may be likened to a fire. First, a feeble spark, next, a flickering flame, then a mighty blaze increasing in speed and power. Love, I recognize the emotion for the faulty thing it is. Great moments are born from great opportunity. For ages, this idea has been proclaimed in the consummately wise teachings of religion, probably not alone as a means of ensuring peace and harmony among men. The receding of women from the industrial and other fields is not due to their inferiorness, but to their natural disposition. But I hope that it is not too late for the truth to be known, and the world to pay tribute to this pioneer of science. The economy of human energy, which is mainly dependent on the efficiency of various operations performed by man. The forces of nature are not to be conquered, but to be harnessed and guided. All the great religions contain wise prescriptions relating to the conduct of life, which hold good now as they did when they were promulgated. The earth is bountiful. It will provide for all our material needs. If we would but learn to use its resources wisely, power flowing through the earth will make the desert bloom like a rose. Nature may reach the same result in many ways. I don't care about fame. I only want my work to be remembered. Let them say what they will about me. Let them laugh and frown upon me. My inventions will live on long after I am gone, for the betterment of all humanity. The idea came to me like a flash. The realization that rotating magnetic field was the solution. All my life I have been interested in the problems of the universe. Though we may never be able to comprehend human life, we know certainly that it is a movement, of whatever nature it be. The motors I built there were exactly as I imagined them. From that hour on, I knew my mother's days were numbered. I resolved to rush through Europe. What we observe in our everyday life is that we are influenced by outside impressions. To me, the universe is simply a great machine, which never came into being and never will end. I constructed my inventions entirely in my mind before ever touching a tool. The development of man's consciousness is slow and painful, but it is inevitable. Throughout space there is energy. Throughout space there is energy. Is this energy static or kinetic? If static, our hopes are in vain. If kinetic, and this we know it is, for certain, then it is a mere question of time. The progressive development of humanity depends on invention. Its most important product is the creative brain. All that is great and inspiring is born of genius, and genius knows no bounds of time or place. I am unwilling to accord to some small-minded and jealous individuals the satisfaction of having thwarted my efforts. The practical success of any idea is dependent on the attitude of contemporaries. If timely, it is adopted. If not, it surely perishes. My success was not due to luck, but to preparation, hard work, and learning from failure.